This meeting is being recorded.
No.
Okay. All right. So hello, everyone. I'm apologize that I cannot turn on my camera today. I have some technical difficulty. So I will be just you can hear me talk. But I think since this is an online session, and we would like to have everyone to turn on the camera if possible. And that way we can have a little bit connection, like I think easier for us to connect, and also for the teacher as well. But before we start, let me give a quick introduction of the program, and also let me see. Let me share my screen for a little bit. Okay. Let me give 1 second. So today I'm using someone else's computer, so it's a little bit different. I've been trying that ahead of time, but let me see how somehow I can share. Okay, so let's share my screen. Can you all see my screen okay?
It doesn't say anything different.
Yes.
Okay, so thanks to my friend that she make the fancy slides for me with all the beautiful color. But welcome to the Buddhism journey for beginners, or it's not like beginners, but like we always a beginner in study, right? So so it's welcome you all to the program. And so I think it's just a Zoom ethic. I think we all know that. And maybe if you are somewhere not out of Atlanta, not from Atlanta, or just please put where you are from, so we kind of know, because since it is on Zoom and online. And I would like to give a little introduction about our teacher. Dharma teacher for today is Venerable Thich. He is a monk from Princeton Meditation Center in Dallas. He is monastic disciple of Vietnamese Zen Master Thich Dien. He is a 45th generation of the Lam Te Lingji Zen tradition, and the 11th generation of the Liu Quang Zen lineage. In 2013, Thich Thien received a master's degree in religious studies in Tibetan Buddhism from Naropa University. He trained under Thich Nhat Hanh Plum Village tradition from 2011 to 2015. Before he moved to the West Coast, he taught Buddhism at the Compassionate Dharma Cloud at Morrison, Colorado. He guided meditation practice at the correction facility in Canton City. He also led the Evanston Center for Spiritual Wholeness and Healing, a ministry of University Park United Methodist Church in Denver. He studied depth psychology at Pacific Graduate Institute in Santa Barbara, and teaches online Dharma and meditation for kids. On weekend, he enjoys hiking in Dharma Mountain, in the mountains, and having tea in nature. So that is a little bit from our teacher. And let me give me 1 second. I would like to think there's someone joined, so I will allow people to come in as well. Okay. And just 1 second for the, sorry for interruption. And I just give Thầy the host as well, so no more interruption. Okay, and that is the little bit about our teacher for today. And as he put it, Buddhist practice before we start, I just like to take the 3 refuge, and maybe if you feel comfortable with that, you can join me in with the 3 refuge as well. Otherwise, it's okay. It's probably okay that you're not. You don't have to take the refuge, but so for the opening prayer, 3 refuges. If you would like to put a palm together, if you're comfortable, if you're Buddhist, if not, you're not Buddhist, that's fine as well. That you don't have to take refuge at the moment. but they can please join us. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and of love. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. Dwelling in the refuge of Buddha, I clearly see the path of light and beauty in the world. Dwelling in the refuge of Dharma, I learn to open many doors on the path of transformation. Dwelling in the refuge Sangha, shining the light that supports me and keep my practice free of obscuration. Taking refuge in the Buddha in myself, I aspire to have all people recognize their own awakened nature, realizing the might of love. Taking refuge in the Dharma in myself, I aspire to have all people fully master the ways of practice and walk together on the path of liberation. Taking refuge in the Sangha in myself, I aspire to have all people build powerful communities to embrace all beings and support their transformation. And as also this is another practice of Buddhist is that without the Dharma request, the teacher won't teach. So dear teacher, our dear teacher, in accordance with the interest and the faculty of the sentient beings, please turn the wheel of Dharma of small, great, and common vehicles. And at this time, I would pass this back to the teacher. Dear Thầy, please. Hey, we cannot hear you. You're on mute. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Yes, that's better.
Thank you everyone for having me. So let's join our palms together and we're going to recite the Buddha name 3 times. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha. So I would like to take this opportunity to invite everyone to sit for a few minutes before we start our Dharma section. So at this time, I would like to invite you to sit upright, sit comfortably in a chair, and allow your whole body to be relaxed. And we're gonna take 3 deep cleansing breaths kept together. So we're gonna breathe deeply in through our nose, and then we hold it for 2 seconds, and then we breathe out through our mouth. But let's do this exercise as well. We're gonna pull up our shoulder to our ears like this. You can look at me. Okay, and then when we exhale, we're gonna drop our shoulders and we exhale together like this. Just, like let mind physically and mentally. So let's try this together. Okay, deep breathing in, pull up your shoulders together and hold it for 2 seconds. 1, 2, and exhale together. Okay, one more time. Deep breathing in together, pull up your shoulders and hold it. 1, 2, and drop them. Okay, one last time together. Deep breathing in, pull up, and hold it. 1, 2, and let go. Okay, I hope that deep cleansing breath and a little bit of, shoulder exercise might help you to relax your body a little bit. But the main practice of this mindful breathing, we're going to focus on our breath. So our breath is everything. Our breath is our life. So we're going to gently and slowly and naturally just bring the awareness to your breath at this moment. In this moment, we're gonna aware of our in-breath through our nostrils and follow it all the way. And the moment that you breathe out, you're also aware of it, focus on it, and exhale. So just bring awareness to your breath, in and out. In and out. Check your breath and nothing else at this moment. But guess what? Our mind is gonna somehow, somewhere, all these thoughts, they're gonna come in, flood in our mind with different thoughts. And that's okay. That is the nature of the mind. It's gonna create all these thoughts all the time. But our job right now is we're gonna just recognize the waves of thoughts come in and out. And then we return to our mindful breathing again. And just stay with it as long as you can until another wave of or train of thoughts come in at you again. And hello, that old friends again. Hello, and you're welcome to stay, and you can leave whenever you want. But your job is, gonna return to your mindful breathing again. So we just bring the awareness to our thoughts and let it go. And return to our breaths. So our practice is not one-time deal. It's gonna require a lot of reset, renew in our practice all the time. So maybe you can stay in this calmness, quietness for a little bit before, all these thoughts, all these feelings, emotions, they're gonna come in by the nature. So we just recognize that. We have thoughts button that we can press all the time until we can be prolong our sitting. Our breath is so wonderful. It's something that we need all the time. It can help us to relax. It can help us to refresh our mind, our body, refresh our sitting. So just use your breath as much as you can. Your breath is your anchor to return to. And while you're sitting aware of your breath, you can feel the sensation of your breath. Feel the softness of your breath. Feel the lightness of your breath. Or you can feel the coolness of your in-breath and the warm air leaving your nose. And you can send, this gratitude to our breath. It's so precious, right? Our breath is so precious. Without it, we cannot do anything. So we're gonna conclude our short sitting the awareness back to the space that we create and bring all the attention with you. What is your intention? What is our intention here in this Zoom? And I really appreciate everyone for being here this afternoon so we can learn from each other. We can share the insight, experience, and the practice together. So let's bow in together. All right. So thank you, everyone. How was your sitting? Was it too short? Yeah. I wish we can sit for another half hour, but our time limit here today, we have about an hour and a half, but I think we almost spent half an hour, almost 30 minutes. So we have about 60, 67 minutes left with each other. So I just want to thank you, Sister Maiha, for inviting me to this group. And my apology for the last meeting that I couldn't make. I think last month I was so busy and I couldn't get on the Zoom on time. So I hope I can make it up this time. So how's everyone doing? Doing good? And I don't know, we have some kind of connection for myself, with Georgia. It's all this, the network of, I think, the Dharma realm somehow connected me to Georgia last, I think, 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, when one of the monks from Georgia, he asked me to visit his temple in, I think, Lawrenceville, right, G? Lawrenceville. And I stayed there for 3 months with him. So somehow, we connect with Sister Maiha, and from there, we keep in touch, and we've been basically have this collaboration in Buddhism teaching. So I am very happy to be here with everyone today. And the topic for today is about the Buddhist ethics, compassion, and right actions. So when we come to Buddhism, the fundamental teaching of Buddhism is about compassion, right? That you would hear from so many teachers. The basic, teaching is compassion. And another quality that we cultivate along with compassion is wisdom, right? So our wisdom, we're not including in this talk, but actually somehow it relates to wisdom, because without right compassion, I'm sorry, without the right actions, we probably wouldn't gain, the platform for me, or the environment for the Buddhism, for the teaching of Buddhism. So this, I think, it could be the seed that we have sown, for many lives, not only this life, but I think many lives, that we have showed this right action seeds in our consciousness, and this life, is pop up like daffodils, in the spring. so so I think somehow, our right action connect with the wisdom universe, and that's how we come together today. So before we talk about um, com compassion, I want to first bring up the right actions, right? So the right action is basically comes from one of the um, noble eightfold path, right? So as you know that in the eight uh, spoken, is that right? The eight in the will, it has the eight spoken. So the right action is one of them, right? And if you want to remember this more easily, I use the acronym. So I use this VS. Okay, I'm gonna type it out. VS I S A. So Visa, right? Like the Visa card. So for you to remember. And the last 8 letters, LEM. Sorry. It should be LEMC. So Visa LEM. I hope you remember that. For me, it's very easy to remember. So Visa, V is stand for right view, right? So we have right view, and then we have right. What's I stand for? Anyone? Intention, right?
Yeah, intention.
Right, intention. Okay, and then we have S. Okay, and then A. That's the one we are studying today, right? Right action. Okay, and the rest of them, L is stand for livelihood, right? Oh, sorry. Livelihood, and then we have E, lamp, right? Lamp. So E is stand for right effort. So we all practice right effort right now too, right? Instead going to shopping mall, we are using our time to go on Zoom, right? We put in the right effort. M is stand for you can say meditation or mindfulness, either way. So right mindfulness or right meditation. And then the last one is right concentration. So those are the 8 that we practice. So in the compassion, right? Including everything, including all 8. So when we pick out the right action, this is only part of the compassion, only part of the compassion that we practice. So in the Noble Eightfold Path, it is the practice of not only for the arahats, right, or the hearer, or us, but it's also for the Bodhisattva. So the Bodhisattva also start with, the Noble Eightfold Path, because it include everything in the Bodhisattva path. So the Noble Eightfold Path is included in there. So when we're talking about the right action, it usually involves our body, right? Our body, how we able to use our body in the right way, right? Um, so the Buddhist teaching, uh, want to put this concretely, uh, in the foundation, because right actions. When we're talking about right actions, we're talking about, cover the topic of karma too, right? So when we come to Buddhism, we basically learn about karma, right? Or even not, um, learning from Buddhism, but you also maybe already know about the law of karma, right? But when we go deep into the Buddhist teaching, karma is one of the elements. It is really, really important, for our practitioners, for our, future Buddhahood. And if we don't um, understand or take, karma seriously, then the topic of right action is not very moving. It's not effective anyway. So right action is basically when we understand the law of karma, right? We gonna go in the right way. We direct our mind into doing the right thing, right? Because we know that the law of karma is gonna come after us, right? But law of karma is basically we have to understand um, from the um, positive aspect, not when we're talking about karma, we talk about, we have this kind of um, impression that is only negative, right? Negative about karma. But when we put, our perspective, in a positive way, in a very optimistically way, we can see that, oh, the more I cultivate, this good karma through right action, right, then it's gonna lead me to, I mean, basically happy life, right? Because we all in this world, we are longing for a happy life, right? And we don't want suffering. We don't want to create suffering for others either, right? So basically, when we practice right action, we already know that we have to write our ship right to the right direction. So from there, we can basically um, have this experience of how to be good, right? How to be a good human being, how to be a decent human being. So this is the principle when we're talking about the ethical conduct, right? So when we're talking about right action, we're talking about the five precepts. So any of you have been taking the five precepts yet? Or the five rule of conduct of the lay Buddhist? No? Okay, so right action is basically is help us to uh, practice the five principles as a human being, right? So not only in Buddhism, but I think it's also practiced in other religion as well. Like the Ten Commandments, the seven sins or something that we should avoid, not try to get into that realm. So five precepts here. The first one is no killing, right? We should not use our action to harm any sentient beings, any beings, especially human being. But we try to avoid all costs with abstain from killing, but we should also not support killing or not give an order for people to hurt other people, or when we hear someone hurt someone, right, or killed someone, we feel very happy. So that is also in the Bodhisattva vows, we violate the code. For the lay man, no killing is already good enough. But if you want to take the Bodhisattva vows, when you just hear someone somewhere, they get hurt, they get killed, and you feel cheerful, you feel happy, then you violate the code of killing. So it's really deep, right? When we go into deep, layers of practice. But for the first precept, for the right action, we should not kill, right? So that's the first one. And the second one is no stealing, no taking things that belong to other people, and without their permission, and we take them. That's the wrong action. Okay, and the third one is misbehavior, or we call it missexual conduct. So we should practice truthful to ourselves and our loved ones, right? So we should keep that vow to not only protect our own happiness, but also protect other people, families as well, right? So when we practice this truthful, or faithful with one another, then we already have the happiness in our family. And the fourth one is no lying, right? You have to be tell the truth, and so this is we say that action, right? But the speech that's lying, right? But our mouth is part of the our mouth is part of the body. So anyway, so that is the practice of the body as well. Right action, right speech, right? So the right speech is also in the Noble Eightfold Path. But for the five precepts, the fourth one is no lying, and the fifth one, the last one, is no using intoxication, or no offering intoxication to other people. So you can, if you have a deep contemplation about non-intoxication, is so important, because when we use all this substance, it could be liquors to the powders and so on. they can lead, to delude our mind, right? Cloudy mind, and our action can be lead to, in very harmful way, right? So many of us have heard so many story about uh, drunk drivers, right? And it took so many lives. I mean, each year, if you look at the stats, I don't know exactly the numbers, but I mean, it keep going all the time. It killed innocent people. Every second. Right now, while we talking in this very moment, there are accident involved with drunk uh, and driving, right? And also not only involved with the liquor, but some people they may be using other substance that can cloud their mind. They cannot able to control their body anymore, and they want to get on the highway and they drive, and somehow accident can cause from there. So you can see that how this fifth rule of conduct is so vital, to our life. And we, I mean, if you deep into the practice, you can see the effect of the other substance that we use, because one of the poisons, the three poisons, right? Uh, we have hatred, greed, and delusion, and the greed that it lead to the delusion. And and when we like something, we don't think it's enough, and we keep go after and get more and more and more, and that's what we call the addiction, right? So when we're able to deeply contemplate, we're able to see that, wow, this is the chain of action. If we take one action and we can see how it goes, it can lead us so many effects. It could be good effects. It could be negative effects. So we can contemplate it, and then we able to slow down our action, right? So our practice is right action is basically the main practice is slow it down, right? Be mindful. So we apply mindfulness along with this right actions. So right action is just not a theory, right? Right action is the practice. And how do we practice with it? We have to slow down, and we're able to see all this, the root cause, or the effect, afterward, right? So if today we go out there and we just greet someone, right, and we maybe do something for them without condition, and right there you already experience the happiness, within you, right? So when we connect with the right action with compassion, so right, the compassion is in if you're gonna have your pet sometime soon, you can name her or him Karuna. Karuna. So that's a Sanskrit word for compassion, Karuna. So the Karuna, compassion, when we practice compassion, is basically this is the path of the Bodhisattva, non-judgmental, right? When we practice compassion, non-discrimination, non condition, right? No condition at all. When we practice compassion, we don't look for, praise. We don't look for people to give us the certificate, right? And sometimes, people out there, they practice, they give, like tons of money, but they don't look for the recognition. So those kind of, the quality of bodhisattvas, they practice without people knowing them doing good things. Sometimes if we don't practice compassion in the right way, somehow, we build up this, invisible ego monster, behind us. It wants recognition. It wants, people to praise. It wants, something return. We call the in the investment term, we call it ROI, right? Right. So when you do something, you have to something, return, right, on investment. But for the practice of compassion, we're not looking for that, right? We're not looking for that, because this is the practice that let go of our self-attachment, right? Actually, we should appreciate the receivers. If we are the givers, right, we should appreciate the receiver, because of them we generate this merits, right? This merits is invisible. It's like we put in the bank, we put our saving in the bank, right? but this bank is invisible. It's not in Switzerland. It's not in Cayman Island. Nowhere can be found, right? This is, we call the universal, right? Everything we do, we return this good quality to the universe, and the universe can use it as well. It's not just us, right? We send all this merits, to the universe. So every practice, right? After the practice, we usually, hear this offering the merits, right, or dedication. So that part of the compassion, we're letting go. We're letting go of what we just did. So we don't hold on to any of the attachment. Are you following me so far? So when we do the right actions, it's gonna somehow, we need to connect with the quality of compassion. And the compassion here is for everyone, not just for ourselves, not just for our loved ones, right? But for all sentient beings out there. So when we practice right, build to the world peace. Can you believe it? So we don't do the prayers, for world peace, right? We have to take the action, right, for the world peace by doing good, right actions all the time. So right there, we already, chipping in the world peace, right? Because if we say, oh, let's pray for world peace, and then we don't do anything afterwards, right? So I don't know how the world peace can come. but we need to somehow chip it in, right? Doing the good things. I mean, obviously, we when we do the right action, we are already have the all these qualities, within us already, right? We already generate a lot of positive energy, or we call vibe, right? In our consciousness, in our body, in our mind, right? And that energy, guess what? Is it ripples, right? It ripple out somehow, right? We don't long in, or we don't want to hold that thought, oh, I have to ripple out, I have to ripple out. No, we don't have to. But as long we do it, we just keep doing it, and we don't have to pay attention to whether, we or our, positive energy is sending out or not. We just keep going. So that is the practice of the bodhisattvas. They just do it, and they don't, you know, like count the beans, right? So same thing with us. We just work hard, right? Um, and we just do our job. Of course, we have to do our counting, right? Um, $10 come in, we should not spend all $10. Right? We should put in a saving. We should, so I mean, in the conventional world, we already have this kind of formula, right? To engage with our life, with our money, and so on. So I think when we talking about right actions, we should use this deep contemplations along with it. Any doors, I mean, to any problems in our life. Um, Let me see. I want to stop right here for a little bit to let anyone want to make comment or ask questions. Um, if you lost, you can let me know so um, I can repeat it for you. Anyone have any questions?
Hi, Thầy. I think I may have a question, but maybe at the end, or do we do the question now?
Yeah, I just want to stop to take a breath, so
Okay.
we, uh, we just take a quick break, and then we go again with this topic.
I think one of the things that I would like to comment is that I think a lot of time when we say compassion, and a lot we thought about compassion is more like compassion for the other people, but sometimes we also forget about compassion for ourselves. And I think that is one of the things, like what does it really mean, the compassion for ourselves versus selfish, right? So I think maybe that's it, something that we should think about, or should quickly talk about as well.
Glad you brought it up. I think that is also part of my sharing today. Um, so when we're talking about compassion, is something that the bodhisattvas, right? They are doing right now for other sentient beings. Um, and what about us? What about our loved one, right? Um, do we have to have compassion for ourselves? Of course, right? Of course that we can, when we, so basically when we on this path, um, when we do something good, for other people, that is also you're doing something good for yourself already. Does that make sense? Something good for yourself. But because, our dualistic mind, it has this kind of, um, distinguish between you and me, we and them, and so on, right? And then we can see the separation. So, this dualistic view, somehow we have to, you have to take care, we have to be first, right? And then other people be second. You see what I'm saying? So that is kind of worldly view. But when you approaching this path, this practice, there's no eventually we have to um, somehow exhaust that view or exhaust that self, but we can see all is one is all. So this view is basically universal view, right? So there's no we are first, we have to take care of family first, and then other people second. Of course, when we live in this worldly life, it's gonna be hard for us to be inclusive in a way, right? It had to take the whole village, basically. It had to take the whole family to be on the same page to do that. Don't you agree? Right? So if the wife, the husband, the kids, all on the same page, yes, we do this together. We're not separate. Other people, need our help. We, do the best we can to help them. So there, eventually, it's gonna reduce this self-attachment. So the reason we are different from the bodhisattvas, because they're in the advanced level, right? They're in the advanced level of non-attachment, so they can dedicate, their whole life to do the good for other people without, um, attached to anything. So somehow continue with the struggling to um, practice this, because right now we on this path, right? And the self basically say that, oh, if I'm doing this, what about my family, right? What about me? So now you can see that self is speaking out, right? And that is something that we're gonna we're gonna um, cooperate with it, right? We're gonna work with it slowly to loosen it a little bit, you know. So this path is not, like 7-Eleven, right? This path is not 7-Eleven. You cannot go in 7-Eleven and pop in, get the food and the drink and on the way again, right? But this path it's gonna be daunting because we're gonna face a lot of struggling all the time. until we able to exhaust this cell attachment. So go back to my early statement that I said that, you know, when you do the good things for other people, you already, you know, you're already part of it. Already, you are already, you know, in there, right? So that's why I said, you know, a lot of people, I mean, they have the quality of the bodhisattva, right? And when they do something for other people, they they feel very joyful in their heart, right? They feel they're part of it already. So they don't have to, you know, show up. They don't have to seek for recognition or whatnot, you know. They the moment they do something for people, that moment they already, you know, gain the 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 the, the invaluable quality in their hearts already. Are you following me so far? So when we do something good for other people, and if there's, you know, absent of the self experience in your mind, in your heart, right away, right? So I think when we practice compassion, um, it's about, you know, the unlimited love that you share with, you know, other people. The moment you share, you're already part of it already. You're not, basically, you're not lose anything. You already been part of that um, progress. So we when we start with right actions, we are try to cultivate um, or we embrace this quality of harmony, right? Harmony, equanimity, and self-regulation, right? Because if you have this big ego, this big self, you know, you don't care about other people, right? And you do all this thing, you know, to maybe, like, you know, bullying, let's say bullying people, right? That's the big ego wanna show up, right? So when we know that, you know, bullying is not the right action, right? Bullying is not embracing the quality or the commitment to create a harmony, right? To create the equanimity, or you know, every being, everyone, you know, peace, right? So we already know between right and wrong already, right? And we keep, you know, going the right direction. We keep our ship, you know, going to the right direction, so we don't run into the iceberg, right? The Titanic. I use this analogy a little bit. So we keep riding our ship, right? Alert, right? We're not going to be sleepy. So mindfulness, that what we need to continue, you know, with the practice all the time, so we can ride our ship, right? We can ride, keep our right direction. Um, because that Titanic, you know, incident happened because, you know, people on the boat, on the ship, you know, they fell asleep, right? Or they have this kind of, you know, lack of awareness, right? So we should no find out, between right and wrong, and we keep choose, we continue to choose the right path. So that's the right action. That's the right, no, that's the path of noble. So you can call yourself noble, right? And we don't need a Nobel Prize for that, right? And that's also part of what we can contribute to the world peace by just doing the right action all the time. And guess what? This also have the domino effect. If you are a teacher, if you are a coach, if you are cute grandma, right? You can transfer this teaching to your lineage, right? So if you are a teacher, you can transfer this lineage, continue to the young generation. Right there, you already have this continuation, the lineage. So you don't have to become a monk, like me, right, to have this lineage to carry on, right? But each one of us, we actually can have our own lineage. Wherever we go, we can create our own lineage. What is a lineage? Lineage is a network, basically. The network is carry out all this good deeds, right? All the good actions. So the more we can create this ripple effect, the more world peace, the more harmony, right? And equanimity that is been, going out there uh, without, without needing the recognition, right? So that's selflessness. I think I know that this is gonna be another clear path for all of us. When we practice compassion, but the more we challenge, the more we're gonna experience all this challenge, the more you're gonna see the non-self. Because right now we see that oh, we have to have compassion for me, for my family, right? Or self-care. Of course, we uh, like the power or the energy, to do the work, just do as much as we can, right? We don't have to exhaust ourselves out, doing compassionate work, right? But we do without there's something to gain, there's something to um, recon, I'm sorry, uh, uh, expectation, right? Or fear of it, right? Fear of doing it. So three things we should keep in mind, I think, when we on this path of practice of compassion. So the first thing is we should not uh, longing for something to gain, right? Gaining here, I've been talking about gaining for what? Recognition, right? Because we longing for recognition. That means we puffing off our ego, right? Our big self, big capital S self. And the second thing is we should keep in mind is we should not lingering or try to have this speculation all the time, right? And the third one is fearlessness. Fearlessness. So on this path of the Bodhisattva, they also practice fearlessness. So they just give, but they don't really care whether this is gonna um, reduce their ability to do things, but they already know that, okay, I am gonna do this um, for the sake of, um, of sentient beings. So this is also the practice of the selflessness. Okay, so eventually we're gonna uh, see these three qualities, in our practice. Um, but for now, I think we just do as much as we can, right? And like I said earlier, sometimes if we practice this, it takes the whole village, right? If Nick and your spouse, your is that your wife, Nick? Then you all in together, right? There's no like conflict. But for some of us, our spouse, our loved one, they're not ready for they're not ready for the path of compassion yet, right? So it's gonna be hard, but you doing keep doing it, and try your best, right? Um, don't give up. So that's part of fearlessness, right? Just just do your work, behind the scene if you want, and who knows, right? Who knows? One day, your spouse um, able to see this, and they gonna have this, aha moment, right? They maybe have the aha moment. Why you been doing this and you don't let me know? What? You, so so maybe your loved one, they one day they're gonna see what your true mind is, and they maybe follow you, right? So who knows? So that is fearlessness, right? No, uh, what is that? Speculation, right? And don't worry that something you gain or not gain, right? So keep in mind those three, so you're able to practice this compassion. So for the last 15 minutes, I want to open the floor for anyone who want to share their experience, or you want to have the question.
Yeah. Hi, I have a question. My question is about when there are times when you want to take a right action and you are not sure what the right action is. How I think what I hear you say is that we should think about think about the thing that creates that is the most compassionate thing, and that's the right action. Um, I think maybe that's part of it, but what else should we consider when we have confusion about the right action?
Okay, so the right actions is basically um, you can consider no harming, right? No stealing, and no misbehavior, no cheating, basically, um, no lying, no intoxication. So from those fives, basically from those fives, you can see all this. can affect by the from the five. If you just sit and contemplate just the first one, and you can see that wow, so many things going wrong when this healing is going right now around the world, right? Uh, in our city, in our neighborhood. So we can see that, oh, if everyone able to practice right actions, because when we don't do the right actions, we're gonna hurt someone, right? And that's not what we want, right? That's not the quality that we want to receive from the actions. So that's not something that we want to be in when we do the wrong action. So I mean, based on those five, you're able to see what you need to do with the right actions. Just like when um, when your friends invite you to to a party, right? And if you apply right actions, right? And if you happen to have a lot of fun, right, with them, and you know that, oh, okay, uh, I'm not able to try, right? After all this fun, so in the back of your mind, you say, oh, I'm gonna ask someone to drive me home, or I'm gonna call an Uber, right, to take me home. So that's the right action, right away, because you know that either you're gonna get a ticket, right, for DUI, or the worst case is you're gonna hurt somebody, right? So right there, you in the back of our mind, we already know the effect, right, of drinking too much. We already know that, but somehow I don't need anyone to drive me home. This big ego, it's play this role, to override all this, you know, um, right intention, right thought of action that you're gonna do. But this ego say, no, no, I can do it. I can do it by myself, But you can barely walk. How can you drive? So basically, we have to watch out, for um, our um, invisible ego, that's gonna create the problem for us when we practice right actions. Did it make sense? Does it
Yes,
make
thank you. Yes, and to consider whether we are taking an action for our own ego or for to be compassionate.
right?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Linda.
Yes, Chick. I was thinking uh, one of the things I work with people all the time who drink and drive and get tickets and go to jail and all of that. And what happens for them is when they're intoxicated, the brain says, I'm okay to drive. And the body drives, but they're not okay. But the brain says, I'm okay. I can drive, just like what you're saying. And to overcome that, how to obviously don't drink so much alcohol that you don't notice that part of your brain saying I'm okay, I can drive, right? That's really important, uh, to not take in those kind of substances so that we're not uh, aware of what's going on in our brain, right? And also along with that, when we were doing the meditation, right, when we did the first meditation, it was very interesting because all of a sudden I wasn't here. All of a sudden, and I didn't know that I wasn't meditating. I didn't know that I was following my breath. there was some kind of movie or pictures in my head. And then I heard your voice again, and I was like, oh, stop that, right? And I came right back to doing it again, and then we did it again, and it happened again. So if I could fall asleep that quickly and not know I'm falling asleep, how can I fall awake quickly like that? How can I do the opposite of the disappearing act, and how can I, really become present, really become the Buddha self?
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Linda. It's a good
Mhm.
question. First part of your question, I think somehow um, we we somehow good at this, right? All of us maybe good at driving since we 16 years old until now. So that is part of our we call the habitual patterns,
Yeah.
right? We good with this, even though we get intoxicated, but this cell, like you said, this cell is oh, it has this ego, right? And including um, our uh, skills, right? Because we basically you know how to drive for so long, right? Um, and that part of the decision, very deluded decision, when we're intoxicated, but we think we can drive, right? Um, so um, I think we we can say that um, it's because of our habits.
Ah,
When we do a lot, right? We can it become the same pattern, right? For us, we get used to the routine, right? Get in the car, we know that we have to fasten the seatbelt, right? That's our habits, and
uh-huh.
we already built in our brain. It's become very automatic, right? And
Hmm.
driving is same thing. It's not like uh, rocket science things anymore, right? So when we involve with this so-called intoxication, yeah, a lot of people they assume that their habits, their skills can control, right? They assume that that their skill, a good skill, can control the will, right? want the start the engine, but that's not um um the
Yeah.
mind, because that's the deluded mind tell you what to do. Um, so the second part of your question, I think, is when your mind is in this rest mode, and somehow you don't feel like you have to control that rest, and that rest is just you know, and somehow you able you were able to hear me, right? Even though
Hmm.
you in that rest mode, but you're able to hear, right? So it's called the you were in the total relaxation, complete relaxation. So so when your mind is um, absent of thoughts, right? Absence of worries, absence of absent from uh, thinking a lot of things, right? Then your mind is actually at rest at that moment, until you hear my voice again, and then it make you uh, alert, right? Wake up, So that's also, I mean, the fruition, uh, very, uh, I mean, very good for you, for your mind to rest like that. So nothing wrong with that. But don't stay in there too long, because when you stay in that mode too long, then you cannot work anymore.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Um, I have a question.
Okay.
Um, Basically, what do you do in situations where compassion for one person may harm others or yourself?
Compassion for one person may harm one person.
Uh, yeah, the compassion for person A may um trickle down to like harm for others or yourself, like putting yourself in danger or something like that.
Oh, okay. Um, so this maybe this incident, uh, you try to help other people, um, to alleviate from the suffering, right? But somehow it may cause the suffering for others, right? Is that your question?
Yes, yes.
So, question. Let me share you this picture. Uh, give me seconds. Let me open this image. I sent this image to Sister Maiha, but I think I can share mine as well. So let me open it. So have you seen this image before?
It's still pulling up for me, so just
Okay, how about now?
yeah. Oh, I see it
Yeah.
now. I have not seen this exact image before.
Oh, okay. So similar, right? Similar
Yes.
image. So this is the from iconography, studies. We can see this image influenced by the Hinduism. Um, so this is the image of the Bodhisattva with thousand thousand arms, right, and thousand eyes. So if you look closely, I'm trying to zoom in a little bit right now. So you can see in each uh, palm inside the hands, you can see the eyes, right? Can you see the image of the eyes? Eye?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is related to your question. So from Buddhist iconography, this is basically a representation of the Bodhisattva with thousand actions, right? Thousand actions. So each hand carry out each action, right? So that's why we call thousand arms, thousand eyes, Bodhisattva. So she carry out all these actions with the eye. And this is the eye of compassion, right? So each each action carry out has to go along with the eyes of image. We basically we can learn from her vow, right? So each action she want to carry out, she have to deep contemplate whether this action is carried out with wrong intention or hurting other people, right? So if an else statement, if you are a coder, if you are a programmer, if you if this action is gonna carry take a wrong or negative reaction, then I will not do it, right? So each action we carry out, we need to have this eye of compassion in the center. And this eye of compassion is including the practice of contemplation or the practice of wisdom along with it. And see, oh, if my action carry out is gonna maybe benefit this person, but it's not gonna benefit the other person, then what should I do? Right? So this is when your insight, when your wisdom are needed. So you cannot just do it, you know, with favoritism, with dualistic way. So no difference, right? If you take care of this person, alleviate this suffering from this person, but somehow the other person gets suffering. So what does good do for the whole thing? So usually when we practice this, we have to deeply contemplate our action. So that's why in each hands, right, there's an eyes of wisdom, the eyes of compassion. So you don't carry out that action with harm. Even though you carry out that action, maybe not harm that person, but it harms the other person. So what should you do? Um, it's not easy, right? But it requires us to practice, requires us to have deep contemplation, to a meditation. It requires us to have the clear mind, right? It requires us to have this clarity, right, in our mind. So that way we can make a right decision. Because we see in this conventional world, you know, it's going to be difficult. But the more we practice, the more we're going to see through it. I hope I answered that. I answered your question, but I know this is difficult, not easy situation when you have to choose, when you have to, you know, not perfect, right? This is not a perfect world. So
Thank you for the answer. I appreciate it.
okay, thank you. So I think we are running out of time.
Yeah, so thank you, Thầy, so much, and thank you everyone for the participation. So also as the as also our practice, before we finish the teaching, the teacher is finished the teaching, we also do the dedication of merits. But before that, let I share some information for our upcoming month start activities and also events. Let me share real quick. Okay. Can you all see my screen okay? So I think I will just go over real quick for our next click through. And this is our next, we also have a YouTube channel, and I try to post on the teachings under our YouTube channel, and I also send that via the email when we do the reminder. And also our upcoming session is on August 24th. It's about true love versus attachment. Venerable Thich Wang gonna teach us on that day. And also the next coming an event that we have is the this is the old one, but we have the same one for the September event, the September camp. We have it from 5 to 7 in Conviton, like 1 hour away from Atlanta. And these are the teachers that will be teaching in that during that session. And our Thầy today, Venerable Thich will be also one of the Dharma teacher for the event for this camp. Before we close out, I would just like to before we do the dedication of merit, I would like to just say thank you, Thầy, so much for the teaching today. And thank you everyone for the participation. And we wish we had more time for us to discuss more. Thank you, Thầy, so much for a short amount of time. We already covered a lot of the Buddhist material teachings, from 5 precepts to Noble Eightfold Path, and also like a lot of different things. But with the matter of time, we don't have much to. We cannot discuss in depth discussion. But at least I give introduction for us, and I think with that we can carry on to do more, taking more teaching and things like find more the teachers and the temples or places, the Dharma Teaching Institute for us to read the book to get more insight, especially when we were talking at the last session was about the compassion and wisdom, right? Those two have to go along, and it's going to help us in the long run. But again, one more time, thank you, Thầy, so much for the teaching today. And also thank you everyone for the participation. And because when we practice in Buddhist tradition, when we practice and Thầy give a teaching and we learn in the Dharma, we accumulate the merits, and those merits, and when we get those merits, we would like to share with all sentient beings. So at this point, I would like to invite everyone to put your palm together and do the dedication of marriage together. May every living being, our minds is one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain would turn into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. And with that, I think that's it. Conclude our session for today. And again, thank you everyone, and I hope to see you all next month. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the day today. Thank you. Thank you, Thầy. Bye-bye.
Thank you.